Oh, today was a good day. I can tell you why today was a good day. Based on how I perceive the day is going to be. We're going to manifest today good things. Now, bad things can happen today. Bad things will happen today to some people. They can happen to myself. Consider what's bad and what's good. But the way we attack, back, or the way we counteract to the things that are bestowed upon us, it's not that those define us. Our entire life is one definition. I'm not trying to get philosophical. I'm just telling you that. Sometimes things happen. And it is what it is. So without further ado, we're going to run through today's history, and then we're going to dig right into this podcast. I'm not going to waste your time because I want you to be truly happy today. As much as you can. Let's go. 1824. Mexico becomes a republic. And in case we didn't take enough of a minute there from the introduction to the on this day in history, on October 4th, let me reiterate that. 1824, Mexico becomes a republic. There you have it. Congratulations to those guys. It's an important day for them. October 4th, 1824. 1911, the first escalator was installed in London. Now, I love escalators when I'm riding them alone. I hate them when there's people on there. It's like I never turn into so much of a Karen until I'm riding the escalator at the airport. And people cut in front of you like at the last second because there's two or three, and then people don't know which one they want to go to, and then they cut in front of you, and then and they take that spot, and you're like, all right. Then you wait, and then there's a lot of room in front of them, right? Like there's a ton of room in front of them, but they just want to sit there and ride and look at their phone when they could be, walking a little faster up that motherfucker. That pisses me off sometimes. That's okay though. It's first world problems. Moving right along, 1957, Leave It to Beaver debuts. Now, if you don't know anything about Leave It to Beaver, it taught me a lot of life lessons. Mainly that Eddie Haskell can't be trusted, and sometimes I am Eddie Haskell, and sometimes I'm the Beaver, and sometimes I'm the dad. The mom, she was always doing her own thing. Anyway, shout out Leave It to Beaver. Badass show. If you don't know anything about it, go look it up. If you don't know anything about it, you've been living under a rock. 1975. The NWA flight. The NWA flight goes down. Pilot dies. A bunch of people were injured. A bunch of wrestlers. And yours, not truly as in me, I don't know how, I fucked that up, but Ric Flair, the Nature Boy, was a part of that flight, and he survived that crash on this day in 1975. 1990, Beverly Hills 90210 came out, and if you don't know anything about that, damn, that changed the world. Shannon Doherty. She was always so hot to me. Shannon Doherty. We'll get back to that in a minute. 1997, the second largest cash robbery in history at $17.3 million. 6 months before that was like $18 million. But these boys right here, they freaking stole $17.3 million. It was like 8 of them got arrested and like 11 or 12 more of them got in trouble. But basically, it was just like, this just shows you how dumb people are back in the day as compared to now. We're just getting smarter. Because the first one, like 18 million or whatever, they were just like, pulled the van up and then just took the money. or not that's the second one. The first one, the dude that was driving the car, he just took it. He was like, "Well, there's $18 million in the back seat of this, or in the back of this armored truck. I think I'll just take it." And and this is why we can't have cash, because people just take it. This is why everything's going digital. Everybody's like, "Oh, they're trying to change it." No, it's because they just tired of getting it taken. They're tired of getting it taken. A lot of people. Moving right along, 2001, Barry Bonds hits his 70th home run. I'll never forget this, to tie Mark McGwire. That was a big deal. 2018, Tom Brady. Now, that was 5 years ago. No, my math is horrible. 3 years ago, Tom Brady became the third NFL quarterback to 500 touchdowns. Threw it to Josh Gordon. Josh Gordon is the guy. He's a good receiver, but he's like always in trouble for. It's like dude's been hired and fired in the NFL more than I have. Like, he's just been hired and fired a lot. But he got Tom Brady's 500th touchdown. That's cool. Anyway, so that's the today in history. Kind of boring. I didn't riff on it a lot because I want to get into the meat and the potatoes while we have minutes left on our video so I can share it up on YouTube. So the thing today with me, Monday, October 4th, 2021, is that I feel like why did you wake up today? I don't know why it's on my mind today to talk about it, but like the general pursuit of happiness, so to speak. Obviously the term comes from the Declaration of Independence or something like that. You can pursue happiness as long as you don't break the law or whatever. That's in their terms, but in terms of how I see things, is that, like, why are we here? I always ask myself that all the time. Like, why are we even here? Like, what are we doing? Then I also find myself in situations where I understand, but I don't understand. It's like I get it, Like, we just different things. Whether you're helping somebody or you're going through something or whatever. Just sometimes I get it. Being happy is like, other countries, like Americans, like we pursue happiness a lot. That's a true story. Like, we actually pursue this shit a lot. There's other countries that are like, years and years and years and years. It's not that they're necessarily not trying to be happy. They just don't pursue it as much as Americans do. Like, there's always something that makes us feel more comfortable or better with what we got going on. Like, there's a pill you can take to make yourself feel better, which people truly sometimes need. It's a good thing. But I feel like we're keeping score of how many times we're happy, too often. I've done this. Like, this whole podcast, this whole thing's based on my opinions, the way I see things. And none of it's, fact. Take it for what you will. But I am guilty as charged, majority of my life, keeping score. Like, like when things go my way, I'm happy, man. When they don't, I'm mad. And I let the world know. And especially the ones that are close to me. I've ruined relationships just by not being generally happy in certain situations when I should have been. I should have been. But that's whatever, part of the process, part of the thing. It's like I feel like being happy and being content and understanding of things, like they're kind of two different things. I know those are three different things, but the two go together. Two different things, and sometimes people they take things out of context. They listen to other people, or they look at other people's situations, and they become jealous or envious of it or whatever, and then they judge themselves, and a lot of times leave themselves feeling not happy. You know what I'm saying? And you shouldn't do that to yourself, number one. I know I often harp on that, you know, treating yourself well and loving yourself and stuff like that. But like some people say, you know, too much happiness could possibly lead to, you know, unhappiness, because you live there so much. See, happiness, in my opinion, it's obtainable through the things that we do. It's literally, you know, a byproduct of circumstances and the things that we're doing, you know. And we all, like I said, we want to be happy, but you gotta accept things for what they are and focus on just like living good, so to speak, and living for your purpose and striving to progress. And you ever sit back and think like, man, how did you get that car? Like, because there's a lot of us that like to live in happiness, and with that comes sacrifice of all the things. Like, we don't have good credit, or we don't have good things, so we like to live in the now and have our immediate fixes on things, you know. And I could get into depth on that, but some people will save their money over a long period of time, or they really focus, you know what I'm saying, and they go through the emotions of unhappiness, so to speak, in order to obtain the things that are going to make them happy. And it's not about being happy over time. Like, we want a nicer car, like driving in a fucked up vehicle, versus driving in a nice car. Obviously, you want a nicer car because it helps you out, makes you happier. But that takes work. You got to go through some very unhappy times to obtain that stuff. A house, a relationship, for chasing somebody. Emotions are a crazy thing. You know, I won't address, you know, being bipolar, because that's a thing for some people. Hell, I think I'm sometimes bipolar. But for the most part, as humans, a lot of people muzzle it well, but we try to just be happy, and it's a hard thing to do. It's literally a hard thing to do. I know that you can't be afraid to like truly get out and get in there and get after something. Like, if life's changing for you, like if you're doing this on purpose, like if you want to purposely change, or whether like life's changing you, either way you cut the mustard, that's going to come with a change of emotions and a change of surroundings and a change of circumstances, and all the things are going to change around you. Like, say you're overweight, and this is years coming, you know, years. It took you years to do this. You've went down mentally or whatever, but then you want to feel better again. Well, that's not going to be an immediate result. You have to go work that off. Going to the gym day in, day out, or not going to the gym, doing it around your house or whatever. Some sort of commitment to where there's going to be hardship and adversity, and you're going to have to pass through those thresholds in order to get to your end goal. That means to be happy, whatever you're trying to get is going to come with being unhappy and upset. Now, being happy, obviously, it's statistically proven to make you live longer. Not make you or whatever, but it does help. Like, you know, less stress, less mess. There's people that have quit their jobs, myself included, in order to just be okay and not be so stressed. You know what I'm saying? It's not even about being happy, but it's just about not being stressed as fuck. And sometimes I battle with that, like, you know, like, but this job right here comes with stress too, so I just picked another one over one. But it's a daily thing with myself, and that's why I talk about it a lot. That's why I'm loud about it. And I know there are other people out there that are just, they struggle sometimes, not just existing, but just understanding, you know, why they're not happy all the time, or, you know, what it is to truly just be happy, or why you have to go through the times where you're not happy. You know what I'm saying? Because life it just isn't always gonna be good. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna talk about this before we get out of here, because I don't want to do a huge long podcast. It's 16 minutes into it right now. This is one thing that I want to talk about, and that's how life isn't fair. You know, and this is actually good stuff. So listen to me if you're still listening, because life isn't fair. But I'm gonna go over some things that I line up with. You know, a little bit of reading and other stuff. This is all stuff I line up with, so I'm good saying this to you. But I like how to deal with, you know, unfortunate circumstances, or unfairness, or it didn't play out like you wanted to. You know, like just understanding. Because it's not a matter of not being unhappy. It's just understanding why things are the way they are, right? You got to recognize the problem. You have to recognize the problem, right? You gotta address it. You can't just pretend that it's not there. People do that a lot. They'll be like, we'll just get over it, or we won't do this, or we won't do that. You know, like if you lose a job, or if you lose a loved one, or if you're on some sort of decline or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to recognize the problem first instead of muzzling it. I know it sounds so vague, but it's as simple as that. Like, what is the problem? That's recognizing it. Step one. Step two, do something about it, right? Like, do something about that problem. And I hate to just ramble, but like, when you accept the situation for what it is, you accept who you are, that things changed, you gotta understand that there's still ways to play off of that. That doesn't mean it's over. That just means you got shifted to another direction. You know what I'm saying? Step three, you gotta let others help you. Right? You gotta let others help you. You gotta let other people help you, man. Like, you feel defeated when you can't do shit yourself. You feel defeated when you can't pay your bills. You should be able to pay your bills. You're a man. You should be able to do a lot of stuff. When the cheese slides off the cracker, it's hard to do anything. You have to let other people help you, not pay your bills, so to speak. Some people do that. That helps you get along, and that's why you'll pay it forward later. But just think about other people in those situations. Think about other people in those situations. You know what I'm saying? Some people like to help. They like to help. It's not like go feed like a vulture on those people and be lazy or something like that. But don't be afraid to ask for help. Like, think about how many times people asked you for help and you were glad to do it. You were glad you were there. Like, the world lines us all up sometimes. You know, if more people understood that, then they would be more prone to help people and to receive help. It's important through the process of understanding that you take it easy on yourself and you let others help you, right? Taking ownership is step 4. This is a big deal for me, right? Taking ownership of situations to understanding, I'm like, it's as simple as I did that to myself. So there's no reason to go any further in thought and blaming other people or letting it feed your anxiety and just constantly slow dripping into your brain that this is a problem, right? You did it to yourself, and you, with eyes and ears open, certainly deal with whatever comes from that situation. If the situation is not in your hands and you didn't create it and it has happened to you, you do have to take ownership of the situation. Now, let's back up a second, and I'm going to get off track here. But like, say somebody gets raped. That's unwilling. You know, they would never want that. somebody gets raped, should they have to just deal with it and be okay? How could they possibly deal with it and be okay? Number one, that takes time, and that's all between, like, nobody can, I can't even really speak on that. But that's from one extreme, you know, the other being you're just simply not happy. Like, some people go through shit and you know, that was what life gave them. So just knowing that should make you okay with things not being okay. You know, like, some people have it worse, so to speak. You know, not life is fucking weird, you know, to throw some shit at you, but owning whatever it is that's a big deal too. A lot of it makes us weaker, and a lot of it makes us stronger. You gotta keep punching. Whenever you own it, you have to start to put yourself in line with other people that have been in situations, or, you know, and they've come through with the level head and talk to them. Don't forget that. So make sure you're hanging out with the right people and not the wrong bunch, right? 5. Step 5, the last step in this little process right here, because we did get a little sidetracked. Change what you can and accept the rest. Like, that's some old saying that's on a meme somewhere, or maybe a bumper sticker on the back of somebody's car, or maybe a quote somebody's got in their office. But that holds power in itself, right? To change what you can and accept the rest. I'm going to address this in 1 second, but there's people right now that the world's changing around them. They've had to quit their jobs, the nurses and stuff, because of the shot, or you might work at some place that says you have to get the shot, or you get fired, or there's people that have Rona, and or people that family members have passed away from it, or whatever. Like, there's always a reason to say, change what you can and accept the rest. When something happens to me, I always, number one, I look at it and I go through the above process, and I try to recognize it and you know, own it, and then when I get to the part to where changing what you can and accepting the rest, well, that should be effortless and also a no-brainer. Meaning, if you can't lift it, don't try. Not in the sense of don't go after your goals. Don't work hard with littler increments until you can get to a bigger thing. I'm just saying, like, in the general sense of, think about it, right? Think about what's going on around you. Think about why things are the way they are right now. If you are homeless, jobless, things just constantly keep fucking going weird for you, and you're constantly in this pursuit of happiness and you can't seem to find it, the microphone's gonna pick up the sirens here. We're in Villa Rica, Georgia. So if you don't know anything about Villa Rica, Georgia, we have sirens here. Like, people do things and then they do the sirens right after, and then it's often here in Villa Rica. It can be quiet as a mouse. I can have doors closed and you'll hear some sirens. But anyways, this pursuit of happiness. Let's all try to be okay today, right? Let's all try to be okay today with the things that were bestowed upon us. I mean, fuck, I'm not even trying to preach at you. I want you to not be afraid of unhappiness. I want you to be okay with that. When we get on our decline, instead of feeling like we're worthless, feeling like shit's not going our way, just understand that it's not going our way on purpose, and ride that storm. Ride it for as long as it fucking takes. Be conscious and be aware of the situation and try to do your best, you know, because we get into things like sadness and anxiety and all that stuff's like a warning sign for us. It's like a guide sometimes. Sometimes we get buried under it and we can't find our way out, and we let it take control of us. But that's where good coaching comes in. That's where putting yourself around people that will help you get through that, darkness helps. Try to be good to yourself out here. I know I just dropped off there, but just try to be good to yourself out here. Don't make the mistake of thinking that you're unhappy because you don't deserve to be happy. Don't make the mistake of thinking that the world is against you. It's hard to think that sometimes, that it's not. But there are a lot of people in this world. We're all born for a reason when we were born. I will always say that because it's the truth. You look the way you look on purpose. You sound the way you sound. You smell the way you smell. Sometimes because you didn't take no bath, which all is circumstantial. Some people can't take no bath, right? Do your best out here with what you got. And ultimately, be happy about the fact that you get to experience all this goodness. I know people right now going through some of the hardest shit that they've ever been through in their entire life. I talk to them, and their situations aren't for me to talk about now, but I can talk about this from their situations. They don't know what to do. I ask them and I try to explain to them, and I try to be that person because this is what I do, and often people give me feedback and it makes me want to do it more and more. But sometimes it's good for me just to sit back and chill and not force it on them to try to be happy, because understanding that their situation is peculiar to them is part of my process as well. But my best advice to them in those situations is to just sit back and relax and try your best not to kill yourself over all of this. Don't beat yourself up. It's all going to change. It's all good. Think about the good things that are going on around you. Think about the positive things. Feed that. Let those be on the forefront, on your billboard in your eyes, every single moment of every single day if you can help it. Do not get in trouble. Don't go out and do stupid shit and find yourself in the decline and then wonder why and then put yourself in this unhappy state. Do the best you can out here. Try your best today and just know that it's fucking good enough. I love you guys. We're the Burn Barrel. This is number 10. And we're out of here. And if I hit the switch, I can make the ass drop. Had to stop at a red light looking in my mirror. Oh yeah, and hey, shout out to Krista Colage up in heaven. R.I.P. breast cancer. Go get your boobies checked, ladies. That's the real deal. Go get a mammogram. Go get checked. Fellas, you can get breast cancer too. Go get checked. Love you guys. Freaking brothers every way like MJ. I can't believe today was a good day.